I am back at it again with another haul video, so we're just going to get straight into it. One of the first items I got was a Winsor and Newton canvas board. It is 18 by 14 inches and I believe it was £4.99. The prices I got were on the website from these different shops that I got the art supplies, so if they are wrong they might be a bit more expensive in store, especially the paints. Just because I know the professional range I think are a bit more expensive in store rather than online. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I do love a good canvas board, mainly because I'm heavy-handed, and with canvases I do forget, I feel like, because you cannot put any pressure or lean on them, with the canvas board you can be a bit more rougher, so I just personally find them a bit easier to use. I'm basically just going to get all the canvases and canvas boards that I bought out the way. The next one I got was an Art Studio 3D canvas. These range in price, but this one was £7. I do believe it was on offer though, because sometimes I have specific canvases that are on deals in the range. This one that I got was 12 by 16 inches, but I did get a smaller one which was more squared off, but I'm not too sure what the measurements for that one was, and I think it was around the £5 to £6 mark. The canvas paper was quite thick on these ones, it's quite secure, they're quite sturdy canvases as well. You'll see in a later part of the video that I have painted already on the more square one. The next canvas is a bit of a unique one, I think personally. I've gotten about 5 I think of these. I've already painted on one, and they're an arched canvas, so it kind of gives me like almost like a fan vibe. That's what it reminds me of anyway. It was, I believe, £2.99 these ones. I've already painted prior, as you can see in the video, some koi fish on one. I used normal Galleria acrylic paints for this painting, and I think I used some of my professional range because at this point I just started buying the professional Galleria acrylics. Gold acrylic paint wasn't too pigmented, so I ended up personally using the Winsor and Newton gold inks. But then I come to find out really quickly that when I went to varnish it, the ink slightly smudged, so I removed the varnish, fixed that up, stripped the ink, put the varnish back on, and then I did the ink on top of it, and it worked perfectly fine. This canvas is another Art Studio 3D one. This is the square canvases I was talking about. Now that I'm looking at it, it's actually bigger. I don't know why I thought it was a smaller canvas than the first one I showed in the video. This one was £8, I remember distinctly, because it was on deal, so I got it. As you can already see, the background's already been painted on this one, so I don't know the specific size measurements of it. When I went back to the range, these were all gone, so I'm glad I bought one. And as I mentioned before, the background's painted because I am doing an ongoing video for that one, so you will see that in the near future. These are just clear folders. You've probably seen them before with art students that have been like, you've seen pass and go to college, uni. You've probably seen them when you went to secondary school, because I know there was loads of these. You usually got given them if you did art, is one of your options. They usually give them for your final pieces. I got 3 of these, but I've only shown in the video 1 because it was the smallest and it was the easiest to fit in my camera view. But I got an A3, an A5 and an A4. Once paintings are dry, I struggle to keep like dust off them, even though I try to keep the house as dust free as I can. Obviously dust settles regardless of how much you clean, so I find putting them in there's less chance of any hairs getting on it, because I have a dog and she molts like crazy for all she's tiny and has short hair. They ranged in price. I couldn't find the price of these for some reason online, but I'm sure the A5 one was £2.99, the A4 was £3.99, and I'm adamant the A3 was £6.99. Might have been even a bit cheaper, but that was kind of like the price scales that you're looking at for those. As you can see, there's a handle. They have like a seal that clips in, so they're technically waterproof. So if you're outside and you need to take any paintings or artwork, or even like just projects, papers, anything like that, I feel like these are quite handy to have. The next thing I purchased was some linseed oil. It's the Winsor Newton one, 75 millilitres. This one was. I didn't get the big bottle because I don't think I need it, especially when I'm just starting out and learning oils. It was £2.99 altogether. Personally, especially for the water mixable oils, I know they're supposed to be water mixable. Obviously, I find you can use just water to clean the brushes when you're using them oils, but I still feel Liquin and linseed oil, I don't even know if you can use Liquin with water mixable, but I did anyway. So then this moves me on to the Liquin I bought. Once again is Winsor and Newton. These both, the linseed oil and the Liquin, were from the range. This time I got a 250ml bottle because it was one of the smaller ones, and I'm sure I will get through the Liquin regardless. And also my mum paints in oils, so she can use it if she runs out of hers. The bottle was £9.99 altogether. It doesn't have the nicest smell, like I was saying before. I wasn't a fan. I know you shouldn't probably smell these things, but like my brain won't let me not like smell the products, so I didn't like the smell. I feel like it kind of like stayed in the room, but maybe that's just me being dramatic. There's no symbols on it that says it's toxic. It doesn't say anything like being flammable or anything like terps and stuff like that. So I'm assuming if you accidentally got it on your skin, it's okay, but I'd still suggest having Liquin in a form of jar, which I've put in one of the Kilner little screw knot type jars. The next item I got was a 24 pack of washi tape. I got these from The Works, which is one of my favourite shops. I love going there for the books and the witchy books and things like that. I use washi tape quite a lot, as I feel like the glue on it's a bit softer than obviously normal. I don't know if it's called I call it medical tape, but there's an actual name for it. It's like that white tape. I usually use washi tape or that tape to put borders on my watercolour paper or oil paper or anything like that, so it sticks to the table, so when I'm painting it doesn't move. It's also good for us to keep a border around my paintings, because if I'm using paper, I don't like the painting to go to the full edge of the paper. That's just my personal preference, though. You don't have to do this. It was £5 for these, I thought, which was bargain, and I will always use them. I tend to use it as well, washi tape, for journaling and wrapping presents and things like that, to make it look a bit more nicer. The first Winsor and Newton water mixable oil I got, well, wasn't the first of this haul, was olive green. I don't really have many shades left of the water mixable that you can get in the range that I don't have. They all are £4.50 no matter what series they are, and they only do the 37ml. Really pigmented. At first I thought they weren't that pigmented, but stupid me was using it as if like it was just like normal like watercolours or gouache, like using the water. That's what I thought it meant, but I think it's actually easier if you dry brush most of the oils and just use the water to clean the brush when you're changing colours. I did use linseed oil to help with a bit of blending, because I did a cloud painting with these water mixable, and I actually think the linseed oil helped. I don't know whether you can use linseed oil in Liquin with water mixable oils, but I used linseed oil anyway. One little item that I bought that wasn't really art related was this little sunflower memo pad. It was £1.29 altogether, and I am a sucker for anything stationery related. I also am extremely forgetful, so any form of note or like to-do list type things I'm a sucker for, because I always need reminding of the things I need to do. And also sunflowers is one of my favourite flowers, so I thought this was very cute, and this is just a little thing that I'd add in really quickly. There's 3 little sections to it, so there's an urgent section, which is the front pad. The middle section of the notepad is whenever, I think, and then the third one's whenever, and the second one is for later. So basically 3 different categories. Obviously I'll just write on any of them once, as I'll just go through them like normal. So the last item I got from the range was some Mod Podge. I always find that name funny. It's a 473ml bottle, and it's £10. You can get either a gloss or a matte one. I got the matte, which is in this yellow tube. The pinky orange tube is the gloss one, if anyone else is curious or wants the opposite. It's basically like a quick drying glue. I use it a lot of the time for sculptures and sculpting, or any key rings that I make, anything basically out of clay. It's a good thing for like to cover the item in and then sanding it, and it makes it just more of a smoother finish rather than just relying on the clay. Because sometimes obviously you kind of get clay entirely smooth, or you have like fingerprint indentations, and this is like a perfect way to smoothen that out. The scent's pretty much not there, so that's a good plus, and also it's more of like a white texture rather than clear. I got 2 magic colour inks from the art shop Details. These are acrylic inks, and they're quite pigmented, 28ml and £5.99 each. The first one I got is in the shade Asian Lime, and the second is in Gamma Green. I only got these 2 because I just tend to like turquoises and greens, and I personally go for them colours all the time. You'll see later in the swatch videos, they're quite pigmented. They don't actually bleed through the paper, and the paper I try the shades on are only just normal sketching paper. I do feel like Gamma Green, though, if you did at least like another coating, it probably would have went through, but the lime ink I don't think would have bled until a good 3 to 4 layers. They're both really fast drying, they're pretty much dried instantly. You do notice on the later part of the swatching video I do drop a bit of the gamma green by accident on the rest of the page, but we're going to just ignore that little accident. These are for maybe future projects when I do maybe just ink line work or like tattoo style drawings. I don't know yet, we shall see. The next 3 items were all off eBay. They weren't too expensive either, and they were all 100 packs. I have had some ideas and I've been sketching up some ideas for key rings and earrings. That rhymed, but anyway, back to the point. So I got a 100 pack of silver plated ear wire fish hooks. They were 18mm, they were $2.49 for the 100 pack. And then I got a 100 pack of keyring blanks. They're basically like just a normal open split, and then I also got a 100 pack of 8mm and 10mm sheep eye nail screws, which go in the actual earring or keyring, and then that attaches to either the earring hoop or the keyring chain to it. The 100 pack of keyring blanks were $5.95, and the sheep eye nails were $1.54 for a 100 pack of each. So I got a few of them, and like I said, they're just for future project ideas for a few sales that I might do, depending on how they go, my clay sculptures anyway, but we shall see. I have also made some business cards. I ended up spending £21.13 on a 100 pack. I made them basically just a standard business card, square shape and double-sided. The front obviously has just my logo, which I use for my Etsy, my YouTube, my Insta and TikTok. And it's also double-sided, so the second side or the back side of it has my the little logos of all the social medias that I am on, and basically just my name and also my email for anything to do with art related things. I was so happy with how these turned out, and I actually thought it was a really good deal, considering how many you got and also how good they were. I had a matte finish as well, I didn't go for a gloss, and just kept it simple. I got these from Vistaprint and I was in love. You can also buy things like stickers, mugs, pens I believe. I think you can even get like label stickers, anything like that. I also got some Kilner twist top jars. They're basically just like the little screw lids. I got 2 tiny ones for my Liquin and Linseed oil, and they were 48ml and 60p each. And then I also got a 750ml one, which was $1.99. These are pretty sturdy. They're good at keeping like the scent in, especially with white, like your terps or white spirit, whatever you want to call it. Just because it can be a bit on the fragrant side, and it's also toxic. However, I do have the low odor one, but still it has a scent, and like I said, my nose is sensitive and I don't like odd smells. The Kilner jars are also pretty sturdy and they're quite cute, the little tiny ones. They're secure, so that nothing pours out when you screw the lids on properly, and I feel like they're also extremely easy to clean and just easy for storage purposes as well. I also got some more Winsor and Newton mixable oils. Sorry for the bad lighting at the moment. I ended up getting these on the night, and by the time I got home to film this little bit, obviously it was dark outside and I only had my lamp, but my lamp didn't really do much justice. I got, I never know how to pronounce it. I always have said Nepal's yellow, but I think it's Nepalese yellow hue, and also raw sienna. Once again, like I said earlier in the video, they're all £4.50 no matter the series that you get. Nice blend, and they're quite a cheap alternative if you didn't want to go straight into normal oils. I treated myself to 2 of the Winsor and Newton professional acrylic paints. I got permanent sap green and graphite grey. I tend not to get primary colours in the professional range because I feel like the student ranges are perfectly fine, and then I just tend to get the shades that you don't tend to see, so like the turquoises or like the cyans or like the lime greens. But I got a permanent sap green just because I want to see the pigment difference, and I was not disappointed. Obviously it's still slightly on the translucent side, like more sap greens across the board, but the pigmentation was quite good. The graphite grey was lovely. It had more of a matte finish as well, so it was very like opaque, and only needed like a little bit, and it literally covered the entire section, so I was very impressed. The graphite grey online £6.99, and the permanent sap green is $7.99 online. When I got these, there was 15% off the Galleria range, the student range. For the professional acrylics, I feel like I paid a bit more in store, because I feel like I paid $8.99 for the graphite grey, They're both series 2, or I think Sap Green actually might be a series 3 in the acrylic professional range, but the swatches later on I will show the pigmentation of them, and I think they were quite good, but I do try to limit on how many of the expensive brands I get. Since at the time there was 15% off the Galeria range, I got the Winsor and Newton Galleria acrylic paintbrushes. They can also be used for gouache and watercolour. I got a 14 Filbert, which was £12.99 at full price, a short flat bright, which was £5.50, size 2, and then I also got a round size 4, which was £4.50. They were 15% off at the time. I don't know what that price then goes down to. I'm not good at maths, so I'll let you figure it out if you're that desperate, but they were the original prices for those 3 paintbrushes. I love a Filbert brush. I feel like they're extremely easy to use for trees and clouds, and they're just an all-round good one to have. I tend to use the more flats for your more like boxed edged type parts of the paint, so if you're doing anything like buildings for instance, that's when I would use them, or the chunkier ones I'd use to do actual background washes and things like that. Now it is swatch time. I am currently just writing little name tags above just so I know what colour shades they are, but the pigment I was really impressed with for the professional range, whereas the graphite grey is opaque, so it's really pigmented. One swatch basically coat is enough, so as a background colour this is probably perfect and it'll probably last forever. Also when the graphite grey dried, these are both fast drying with them being acrylics. Obviously most acrylics are quite quick to dry. The graphite grey pretty much dried instantly, so if you are using this shade I'd probably work quick with it, especially if you're doing anything delicate details with this shade. Another thing that I did notice about it is it dried really matte, whereas the Sap Green had more of a gloss like sheen to it, so I don't know if that's anything to do with like grain, textures, things like that, but I do like it. I was extremely impressed with them. Like I mentioned prior in the video, the inks were both extremely pigmented. I feel like with the lime green you might need 2 coats, but this was just normal sketch paper. I have actual professional ink paper, like carriage paper, that I also bought from the range, and also bought some from Details. These are for future projects, as I want to do some tattoo style type artwork, and probably use these because green is one of my favourite colours, and turquoise or teal, anything like that. Ocean and earthy colours, I love all that type of thing. The Gamma Green I think would bleed the first out of both of them. The Asian Lime shade was pretty decent at not going through the paper. The Gamma Green didn't go through the paper on this occasion, but I could see it was like starting to, if that makes any sense. And I feel like they would also be extremely good if you were doing any form of ocean pencil drawings, because I feel like using inks and ink pens, things like that, I feel like are quite good, and then pencil on top gives like a more blended look when you're doing any form of drawings and things like that. But that's just personal preference, and these are just what the swatches look like. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to, and I shall see you in the next video.